some pretty special individual seasons. I know it's weird to ask you this early with so much stuff to play, but where does what Christian's doing kind of rank and what you've been able to see as a coach?
Yeah, I think what he's doing is what some other guys have done before him. Is they're a part of a really good group, so it makes them better because they've got guys behind them doing the job, and then guys in front of them getting on base. Doing it from the leadoff spot is kind of unique. And then since he's been a freshman too, he's done it you know, in important situations too. When the competitiveness is about as high as it can get, or the fire's burning about as hot as you can imagine. So there's a lot of different things you could throw at it, and it's a long conversation we could have, and it'll be a really fun one, like you said, kind of when the season is over or when his career is over. And then yesterday was a really fun one with Beck hitting the homer and Crochet facing Trey, and some other guys doing some things in the minor leagues. So those will be ongoing conversations for a while. That'll be really fun, and I think SEMO will kind of be a centerpiece of those.
Guys, different spots in the order here tonight. Kind of what went into changing things up in the line?
Just kind of looking at who we were facing has a little bit to do with it, but also trying to balance things out, and then looking to put some people on notice that they need to do a little bit better. And Backus with what he did. I mean, I've kind of repeatedly said all those guys deserve whatever they get. I mean, Bradkey's sitting there, Bargo, but we give Backus the nod tonight. Didn't go well for him, but as long as we get some productivity out of each spot in the lineup, just a quality at bat or two, and Reese kind of picked us up there at the end with his swing that he took. But I think it's nice that this group is flexible. Like I've said before, a couple years ago, and then even the year before, you had guys slated in very specific spots, whether it be on the mound or in the lineup. And I don't know that we'll ever get to that spot where it's just stationary. It might be, from one game to the next, we assess what we think is best.
You mentioned wanting to kind of send a message, and nothing guaranteed to some guys. You feel like those guys responded the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I think KT needs to have a good approach at the plate, and he certainly did that tonight. It started in here. He was very determined, and then kind of followed into his work during BP, and then in the game, even one of the at-bats that didn't go his way, you saw a good approach and a right mindset. And I think it's not just him. I mean, it depends on which game it is. This thing goes in cycles, and everybody in our lineup has a chance to be the best guy that night, and everybody in the lineup has a chance to maybe struggle that night in particular. So when you struggle, you can either get more competitive and more determined or not. And that might just be within the game because by number, they've got a bunch of other good arms. You see a guy that's in a groove and he makes it tough on you. Again, you can either feel defeated or pout or whatever it might be, or get more determined.
A couple of very deserving names we'll talk about for SEC Player of the Year, but how important is it that Christian is in that conversation with the year that he's having?
Yeah, I think he should be. I think if they were giving away an award for running hard down to first, he's probably going to finish, 367th or something like that. But, look at what Trey's doing. I think the one thing about Trey that year in particular, and Dylan Cruz is a freak, and I'm not supposed to say it because I work at Tennessee, but I love Sonny DeChara. He falls short of beating those two guys, but look what he's doing now. So I think those awards are awesome, and they're an honor, and probably something you should be proud of, but it's a marathon, it's a sprint, applies to our game more than anything. So I think what you want is to continue having success and play as long as you can and keep getting better, and Christian Moore has definitely done that, and I could see him continuing to do that when his time is done with us. But it's nice for the program. Like I said, other guys are making him better, and then there's days too where he goes out and does it and makes it easier on other guys. Good. He never really kind of got in like a flow or a rhythm like he tends to do at times. But he also, if you flip it, he never got into that situation where at times, maybe here and there, where a couple things snow plow. That is not. You like The Simpsons, Mr. Plow? Remember that episode? Dylan didn't snowball on him. Thank you. With maybe we don't make a play, and then he, struggle with flare or whatever it might be. So overall, it was, an outing where he kept everything together for us, and it certainly makes our dugout feel good when he's out there. And I think kind of tampered down, their offense in a way that it made our offense a little bit better. So good outing, and I think, another win for him, and be exciting for him to go back home to his home state and pitch in some capacity next week.
I guess postseason's right around the corner. How important is his flexibility to do a couple different things?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a meeting with him tomorrow, I think to stress it would be outstanding, and that goes for everybody. And that's nice about this group is, and we've had it in the past where guys are flexible and everybody wants the ball in whatever situation it might be. And I think it's going to be important for guys to realize they might be hot in the bullpen and get passed over, and they may be asked to do something that's not in the norm for them. But the good thing in his case is he's kind of done it, 3 different ways for us, and I think he should expect all those to be possibilities for us because it's our tournament is in March, but March Madness is called that for a reason. It's chaos, and chaos will begin for every team in the country, not just ours, whenever the postseason rolls around.
How impressive is Christian Moore's sustained success, knowing how much he probably is on the pitchers' radars right now?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for pitchers and hitters is there's so much information and people scheme and game plan for you and things like that. And you've got to be willing to counter adjust. I don't want to say like a counter move because it's not chess we're playing here, but you got to be able to cover your blind spots. And I don't think you can do that in one day or one sit down or one video session. I think that is kind of back to my answer is, you want to win awards, you want to win games, you want to get recognized, you want to get honored, you want the results to go your way. But if you just kind of tunnel it down to what you have control over and what you need to do every day for those things to happen, is just keep evolving. And it's been interesting to watch him and Blake Burke and KT especially just evolve and become more complete players. And Dylan Dreiling certainly belongs in that category too.
How important was it for Stamos to bounce back and get through that second inning pretty easily?
Yeah, it was good. If anything, the way he threw in the second inning makes it more frustrating probably for him and more difficult for us to make the switch. We'd kind of talked and, that's kind of what we felt to do. But, one pitch, he gets to a 2-strike count there and I don't know, a few pitches early in the first inning just didn't look like his normal conviction. And that might just be because they put 1 run on the board, taking the easy way out and saying, well, that result happened because of this. But that's just kind of the way it looked to me. But you make one, poor mistake to a Team USA guy and he makes you pay for it. But overall, he did exactly what we needed him to do for us. And then, Cause certainly took the baton and did well with it, as did Kirby.
How big was Hunter Hensley to not with the lineup change, gets 3 walks, and particularly that 3rd inning sequence with him and Dreiling leading to tears?
Yeah, it was huge, but for tonight's game, the more exciting thing for me is, I guess, to stick with this theme of getting better and evolving is Hunter's an aggressive guy. He'll run into the wall for you. He runs the bases aggressive. He's got an aggressive mentality, and he wants to swing the bat, which is awesome. But as we've said, it takes 2 to tango. So just to swing will get you in a hot mess in this league. So the fact he can add that to his repertoire, and we were joking when I talked in here, a couple guys don't have that hit-by-pitch repertoire to them like I did, but I couldn't hit. So it's a tough one to coach. But everybody needs to be willing to just take their walk if the guy's either trying to get him to chase or the guy's command is lacking. And he set the table for us in a big way. And the numbers weren't big. We faced good. He had their best numbers out of everybody. And you can see why it's a real difficult mix. And it's not like in the first 2 or 3 innings we put up 6 runs. But what we did do was make it very difficult on him and drove that pitch count up. And again, a part of it was Hensley. So that's a nice little spot. We mentioned Trey Lipscomb. That's a nice little juicy spot in the 5-hole in the lineup for everybody, and he took advantage of it.
You mentioned Causey not really getting into a rhythm. How beneficial is it for you to see that if he hits a batter or if he allows a hit, he can get out of those jams, especially in this point of the season?
Yeah, but and I think, to be honest with you, I think we have had that confidence for a while now. Kentucky, we bring him in so quickly. Again, if we don't mind him starting against anybody, but if we're going to bring him in the middle of a game, we really don't mind what situation it is. And again, the Kentucky one is easy to reference because it was a hot mess we brought him into. And it was just kind of a gut feel. We go real quick change, and he's got the composure that you're looking for. And Kirby's throwing the 9th inning because he's got the composure, and Combs has been thrown in a bunch of jams because of that. So we've got some guys we really trust. And then the fun thing is there's some guys like Loy and Phillips, and I may leave somebody out that are kind of climbing that ladder a little bit too, and we're going to need all of them.